Hi everyone, good morning.
Good morning, Anshuman. Good morning, all. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So just 1 minute, let's see if others are joining. In the meantime, let me share my screen just 1 minute. Okay, so let me share my screen. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. I'll start. Okay, so in the last class, we have just covered the basics like what is SAP, why, what is ERP, and what is SAP, and what are the SAP offerings are there, and what are the benefits of SAP are there, and what are the, let's say, different type of models and all. We have seen those kind of thing in yesterday, not yesterday, in the last class. So today we are going to see what are the SAP business processes are there. Okay, so business process means how we are going to do the procurement in the SAP side or SAP side. So mostly if we say about the SAP so SAP is a module of SAP which will deal mostly with the purchasing and the inventory side. Okay, so first part or one part will be your purchasing or procurement, and second part will be your inventory. Okay, so for the first part, let's say for the purchasing or procurement, first we need to understand what kind of processes or business processes are there. basically what do we mean by business process? So business process means the type of procurement that we have in our purchasing side. Okay, so that is basically there. So first we will understand the type of purchasing process or type of business process in the SAP MM. So if you say about the business process, first one will be your procurement for material. So basically we will procure either material or service. Okay, these are the two kind of things are there. And if we say about the procurement of material, so first one or the first process is procurement of material for stock purpose. Okay, so when we purchase the material and we store it, okay, like for example, let's say some daily use materials will be there, let's say there will be some raw materials will be there. Okay, and let's say there will be, let's say trading goods will be there. So these kind of material when we purchase it for the storing purpose. Okay, storing purpose means whenever it will be required we can store it in our warehouse in our storage location, and whenever it will be required we can issue from that. Okay, it is not like that when we require some of the product then only we are going to order it, but we will store this product. Okay, so that is the first thing, your procurement of a stock purpose. So when we purchase the material for storing, so there will be a process flow will be there, so we will see that in a bit, or with the we can see that in some time we can see that, like what will be the process flow and all, we will see that one. So first thing is when you procure the material and you store it, that is basically called your procurement of material for stock purpose. Okay, this is a standard way of purchasing or standard way of procurement. One second. Okay, so that is a standard way of procurement when we buy some material and we store it. Okay, now the second type of procurement will be procurement of material for direct consumption. Okay, now there are some materials are there, you are not going to store it directly, you are going to consume it. Okay, like you are having your office supplies. Okay, or you are having any kind of maintenance materials, or you are having any kind of, let's say, safety equipments like your hand gloves, or let's say mask, or let's say your safety goggles or something will be there. So these are some of the examples we can say. Or department wise any kind of, let's say, materials will be there. Let's say you are having your maintenance department, you are having your let's say your project department, or let's say you are having any specific departments are there, so for them you are purchasing. So in that case you are not going to store that one. So whenever you receive the material you have to directly provide to the department and they will consume it. You are not going to store it in your storage location. Okay, so that is basically your direct consumption process. So if you are unable to understand in any let's say time, you just ask question. Okay, you just ask over there if you are not able to understand or if facing any issues over there. Okay, so this is the second thing. When we procure the material and we directly consume it, we are not going to store that material. Okay, third thing is a pipeline procurement. So what is a pipeline procurement? Sometime what will happen, you don't have to, let's say, you don't have to procure the material or you don't have to buy that material. The material will be there at your location and flowing through a pipe or a cable, and whenever it is required you can directly consume it and then you can pay for it. For example, in your household you might have using the gas pipeline, water pipeline, or any kind of broadbands or any kind of electricity connections you are using. So for that one, you are not going to purchase every day, or you are not having any, let's say you are not going to the company and you are asking that today I will be needing this much of electricity or water or anything. So directly you are consuming it, right? The vendors or the suppliers or the company, if we can say, so they will be providing the material to your house, okay, or to your location. So similarly the same process will happen with the business also. Let's say they need some gas connection, they are using some gas material, or they are using some liquid material, right? So in that case what will happen, the vendor will supply the material till the company or till the client's location. So whenever it is required, you can directly consume it from there. And as per the, we can say, as per the agreement, so there will be a agreement will be there, what will be the price and all. So based on that you can settle down the liabilities, like whatever you have consumed you have to pay that. Like monthly you are having a electricity bill, or let's say um, water bill, or let's say any broadband or gas bill, so you have to pay for that one. So that is basically called your pipeline procurement.
Anshuman, one question here. So pipeline procurement means anything which is running through pipe systems, or
Yeah. Yes.
okay, means it's not like any goods or services just
Correct. Correct.
starting from warehouse till it receives at the customer end. It's like that.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
But it should
Custom.
be through pipe only. I mean, so that's little confusing.
Yeah, yeah, normally that is why we call it as a pipeline process, because the material will be there with the pipeline. Okay, so that's why we call it as pipeline process, because
Okay.
yeah. So either normally we use it for, let's say, any kind of, let's say, water connections are there, so water pipelines are there, or gas pipelines are there, or let's say any kind of we can say your electricity, or your, we can say, yeah, normally we can say for the business we use these kind of things for the pipeline process. But you can take example of broadband and all, so that
Okay.
is also coming under the same concept. Okay,
Mhm.
so that will be there. Okay, so next process is consignment process. Okay, so consignment process will be the same as of your pipeline, but here you are receiving the product. Okay, so like you have question, like if it is for the pipeline, if it is only flowing through the pipe, yes, for the pipeline process it will be only flowing through the pipe. And there is a next process is consignment process, if you want to use the same process. Okay, so let's say supplier or vendor will supply you the material, but you don't have to pay upfront any kind of, let's say, payment to the vendor. So let's say today I receive sorry, today I need 100 materials. Okay, 100 materials means, let's say, um, okay, let's take this kind of example. So let's say you need 100 bags of, we can say, cement for your construction, some kind of construction you will need. Okay, so supplier will send you the 100 materials to your location. Okay, now you don't have to pay for the 100 material upfront, but let's say this month I am going to consume, or this month I have consumed 5 bags of cement. Okay, so I have to only pay for the 5 bags of cement. So for an example, what we can say, like you can see in the let's say supermarts are there, or supermarkets are there, so there you can find there are products of the brands are there. Okay, different brands have their, let's say, racks, and they have put their products over there. So upfront the supermart, they don't pay them directly. Okay, so they just create a, let's say, a rack for them, so they can put the material over there. So next one, what will happen, once the product is sold, let's say for 1 month or for 7 days or for 15 days, whatever, let's say agreement is there between the seller and the company, as per that one, whatever quantity or whatever material is sold, or let's say they have consumed. Based on that, they have to pay the supplier. So this is basically the consignment process. So basically you can say there are new companies are coming. If we say about the, just for an example, let's say there are new companies are coming, so in that case they will use these kind of methods. Like you are a new cosmetics company and you are having a new material, and no one is knowing that what kind of materials are there, right? So in that case you can just provide your material. After the material will be sold, you can get your payment. And in the, let's say in the businesses also, they will use these kind of, let's say, methods for the new suppliers, let's say new vendors, or certain processes are there. So in that they will use this one. Like if I give you an example, let's say you are manufacturing a Tata car. Okay, so that Tata will be using the MRF tires. So they will not buy the MRF tires, let's say on a regular basis. Let's say on daily they will be requiring, let's say 100 tires or 200 tires, let's say they are using. So they are not going to purchase the 100 tires or 200 tires, or they are not going to place a purchase order on a daily basis. Rather what they will say, inside the Tata company they will make a store or make a location where MRF company can put their tires over there. Let's say 1000 or 5000 or 10,000 tires they will put over there. So whenever it is required, Tata Motors on their assembly line or in their manufacturing, they will use the tires as they need. Once they're consuming the item, so for 1 month, let's say how whatever tires they have consumed, they have to pay for that one. Okay, so for specific processes or specific things, or let's say any kind of new, we can say vendors or suppliers are there, so for them normally we use the consignment process. Okay, able to understand? This is the same as of a pipeline process, means you don't have to uh, okay, sorry. So this is little bit of same of the process of consignment pipeline process, and a little bit different from the, we can say, process wise, or process flow wise, little bit of different. So in the pipeline process, normally we will not have any kind of let's say purchase order or anything, we will not have. So directly we will create a contract, and then supplier will send the supplier will have the material in the pipeline and be consumed. But in the consignment process, normally you will create a contract and you will create a purchase order for that one. Let's say the total quantity, let's say for coming 6 months how much material is needed. For that one you have to create a purchase order, and you have to send that to the supplier, and supplier will send that material to you, and then you can consume it from there, because this is a material, right? So it is not like continuous material will be there in your warehouse or in your system. So that's why you have to place a purchase order for that one. But whenever you are sending the purchase order, or whenever you are receiving the product, so directly you don't have to, let's say, pay for the material in upfront. Okay, so that is basically the difference.
Anshuman, so
Mm,
let's say in consignment, you said agreement will be made, let's say for 6 months
mm,
or 7 months, like
mm,
that.
mm,
If suppose in 6 months, MRF tire they have placed 5,000 tires in the
mhm,
warehouse, and let's say after 6 months, 10 tires or 20 tires are remaining. Uh,
mhm,
so the PO which was created that was for 5,000 tires.
mhm.
So what will happen now? 10 or 20 tires are left now. So how that payment and that further process, how it will be
Hmm,
like?
hmm. So see, normally what happens after your period is over, let's say 6 months of period is over, and now let's say there are some stocks are available. So either what you can do, you can take it to your own stock and you can pay to the supplier. Okay, or else you can return that material to the supplier, that this is the period is over, now we don't want this material anymore. So you can either send it back to the supplier, or if it is required for you, then you can take it to your own stock and you can consume it. Okay, so if you are taking to your own stock, then you have to pay for that. If you are returning back to the supplier, then there is no issue because you have not
Okay.
paid anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is
Okay.
the process. So now next one, if we say that is a subcontracting process. So what is a subcontracting process? So normally in the let's say in the plants or in the business, every material is not created by the manufacturer itself. Okay, like if we take an example, let's say you might have been using Samsung mobile or any mobile phones you are using, or let's say you are using the household let's say items like refrigerator, like fridge, or let's say washing machine you are using. So these are the consumer goods, right? So the company, let's say here the Samsung company is there, or let's say LG company is there, or let's say any other companies are there. So they don't manufacture all of the items. Like if you see in your fridge, there are a lot of components inside the fridge are available, right? So there will be let's say trays will be there, there will be some plastic items will be there will be some boxes will be there. So these are the items which are not manufactured by the company directly, or company itself they will not manufacture. Okay, so similarly, if we say about your mobile phones, so let's say Samsung is providing a mobile phone, but they are not going to manufacture all of its components. Like they are not going to manufacture the charging, let's say your chargers, your charging cables. They are not going to manufacture that. Okay, so what they will do? So they will provide the material to a contractor. Okay, or a supplier. They will send the material. Like I need 500 chargers. So 500 chargers will require how much material it will require. So based on that, they will provide the material to the contractor, and contractor will manufacture the product. Okay, they will manufacture, or they will, let's say, produce the product, and they will send it back to the company, or to the, let's say, LG or Samsung. They will send it back. Okay, so this is basically called a subcontracting process. Okay, in this we have to supply the raw material, or as a company we have to send the raw material to the subcontractor, and they will give us the final material, what will be your charger, or let's say any kind of semi finished product you are receiving from them, and you have to pay for the manufacturing cost. So whatever manufacturing cost is there, you have to pay for that. So that is basically your subcontracting process. Okay, now next one is a import procurement. So import procurement is when you let's say import the material from outside of your country. Let's say you are having a overseas vendor, and you are taking some material from them. That is called import procurement. But in S4 HANA, the concept of import procurement is moved to another module, that is GTS system. There is a global trade system is there. So your import procurement is now a part of your GTS system. So that's why there is no we can say configuration and all are there in the SAP MM side. So basically this has been moved to the SAP GTS side. Okay, so that is basically there. Next one is a third party procurement. What is a third party procurement? So normally, if we take an example, let's say you are placing an order on Amazon or Flipkart, you are placing an order, right? So when you place an order, normally Amazon and Flipkart, they don't have any manufacturing unit, or they don't have any kind of storage, let's say warehouses and all. They will not have anything. They don't manufacture your product. What they will have, there will be a seller is listed in their platform. So whenever you place a order, Amazon will forward that order to the seller, and seller will directly supply the material to you. They are not going to supply the material to Amazon. So they will directly send the material to the customer or to you. This process is basically called a third party process. When a company or when a business will provide an order, and that order will be directly supplied to the customer from the supplier, that will be directly sent to the customer. So it is not like that we are going to receive the product and again we are going to sell it, not like that, but directly you are going to place a order to the supplier, and supplier will send the material direct to the customers. So that is basically called a third party process. Okay, third party procurement process. Now next one is a outline agreement. So in the outline agreement we have two concepts are there. One is a contract, one is a scheduling agreement. Okay, like the name suggests, agreement. So here if you are, let's say if you need any product for a longer period of time, let's say for coming 6 months, for coming 1 year, you need some of the product. Okay, so in that case what you can do, you can create a contract or agreement with the supplier that for the coming 6 months I need this product. So you can negotiate with the price and all, you can negotiate with the supplier that I am continuously I am going to purchase the material for you from you, so what will be the price and all. So in that way you can create a, let's say, agreement. So first type of outline agreement is a contract. So in that you can create a contract and you can take the material. So this is the first thing. Second thing, there is a scheduling agreement is there. So what is a scheduling agreement? Normally when you know when you need that product. Okay, like if we take an example, let's say you are receiving the newspaper at your home on a daily basis, right? Or you need let's say the dairy product, let's say milk, curd, these things you need in at your home on a daily basis. So daily you are not asking that vendor that today I'll be needing a newspaper or tomorrow you give me a newspaper, right? So you know that every day you will be needing that product, so you just ask the vendor that I will need the product. So they will supply you on the desired date, so every day they will provide you. Or let's say if you say about the dairy products or any kind of you can say in the big basket or in the Amazon there is a subscription program is there. Let's say I need one material for 1 month. Okay, let's say for any kind of, let's say if you have any kids at your home, let's say for them you need some diapers. Okay, so and you need for 1 month you will be needing 30 diapers or something, so one packet of diaper you need, so you can subscribe to it. So first of the month Amazon automatically sends you a diaper packet, right? Or let's say any kind of other products are there. So if you, so basically the uh, thing is there, or let's say the concept is there, when you know the exact date on which or at which date you need that product. Okay, so if that is there, so directly you can create a contract with them and you can just mention the delivery date on which date you need that product, so supplier will directly send you the material. You don't have to again, you don't have to place any orders. But in case of contract, once you are placing the order, then whenever you require the material, then again you have to place a purchase order that today I will be needing 10 products or tomorrow I'll be needing 20 products. Likewise you have to create a purchase order for them. But in case of scheduling agreement, you don't have to create any purchase order. You create an agreement and then you can just send the delivery dates. Okay, you send the delivery dates and then on that delivery date itself supplier will send you the material. Okay, so this is the concept of outline agreement. Now if we say about the next process, that is a stock transfer process. So normally what we can do, so normally sometime there will be stock will be manufactured, or let's say the material is manufactured in one plant and we need to, let's say, supply or transfer it to another plant or another location. In that case, we can use the stock transfer order process. Okay. So let's take an example. Let's say Tata Steel is manufacturing the steel sheets. Okay. Let's say Tata Steel is manufacturing the steel sheets, and now in Tata Motors, they will need the steel sheet material to manufacture the automobile components. So now in that case, what will happen? Tata Motors will place a stock transfer order to the Tata Steel, and Tata Steel will provide, or they will send, or they will transfer the material from Tata Steel to Tata Motors. Okay, this is one example. So in plants also, they will have certain requirement. Okay, like sometime they will procure in one plant and they will sell in another one plant. So in that case, what you have to do, so you have to, let's say, from the procurement plant, you have to do the stock transfer to the selling plant. Okay, that is scenario is there. Okay, so this is a process of stock transfer. Next one is external service procurement. So basically this is nothing but when you procure some of the service.
Anshuman,
Yeah.
stock transfer order, I think these are two types, right? Internal and external kind of.
No, it is, there are five types of total stock transfers are there, okay, based on the requirement. But mostly if we say what we use, that is a intra company and inter company.
Yeah, intra. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, one of your video I have seen in YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is basically your intra company and inter company. So when you send the material inside one company code, let's say if we are saying let's say Tata Motors, Tata Steel to Tata Motors, let's say you are supplying. So if that is under your same company code, then that can be called as a intra-company stock transfer process. In that, you will not have any billing or anything. You will not have. Okay.
So if we are not having any billing in this case, intra case, so let's say both are different companies, but they will be having their own revenues and profits they have
Yeah.
to show. So how they will show? Because if suppose maximum part is delivering to Tata Motors, so how this
Yes.
Tata Steel will show its profit that yes we have sent this many products we have already sold.
Okay. So in the case of, they are different companies. So in that case, there will be billing will be there. So that is the concept of intra and inter. So if it is coming under one company, so if it is coming under one company means the legal entity will be the same. Okay, so the same company. So if we say about the SAP, we can say accounting document will be generated at the company code level. Okay, so if you are under same company code, so there will be no billing. If you are under a different company code, then definitely there will be billing will be there, and you can have your
Mm.
accounting document generated. Okay?
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. And there are certain other things are there. Let's say there will be delivery cost will be there and other things will be there. So that we will see at the time of when we are going to cover that process. At that time we will understand what things are there, and how you can manage those things with the stock transfer order. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the major 10 processes, or we can say these are the commonly used business process by which we are going to, or we are going to use in our system. These are the 10 business concepts or business process, or we can say procurement processes are there. Apart from that one, there are other business processes are there, or let's say procurement process are there, like asset or capital good procurement, returnable transport packaging, non-stock material, non-valued material, blanket purchasing. Rebate agreement is not there in the S4 HANA now. It is moved to, let's say, another module. It has been moved to. So there is no rebate agreement, but these five processes are there. So sometime it is being used. Okay, sometime non-stock material, non-valued material procurement, or let's say blanket purchasing. So these kind of things will be there. So these are the, we can say, least common material, or this will be used mostly let's say business to business, some business, some we can say companies, they will use any kind of this procurement process also. But if we say about the common or in general procurement, the first 10, the first 10 business process what we have seen, this will be the major process. So we will be looking into the first 10 process, and if time permits or if required, then we can see the next process, but normally we don't require, because you will not get any questions or anything related to this one in the interviews also. And in the pipeline process also, right now no one asked about the pipeline process, because see, pipeline process is only let's say customer specific, so only for the manufacturing plants or steel plants who are using the gas pipeline or oil pipeline, so they are only going to use it. Or let's say oil and gas industries, so they are only going to use it, not the other companies. So that is why it is not kind of, we can say, general, we can say common procurement process. Okay, so this is not a common procurement process. So this is basically the procurement processes are there. So just for an example or just for an overview, what is a asset or capital goods procurement? So when you procure some of the asset, okay, what is a asset? Let's say you are a manufacturing plant and you are procuring some of the machine to manufacture the items or products, so that machine becomes a asset for you, or that is a capital goods for you. So that is basically capital goods procurement. Now next one is a returnable transport packaging. Okay, sometime what will happen, so the material will come with a packaging material, and you have to return that while you have consumed the material. If we take an example, let's say in your household you might have using the gas cylinders, right? So when you are purchasing the gas, you are only going to pay for the gas price, not for the cylinder price, right? So whenever you are purchasing the gas cylinder, you have to use the gas. Then once your gas is empty or gas is finished, you have to return that packaging material or the cylinder to the supplier, so that they can give you a new gas cylinder, or they will give you the, let's say, next gas they will provide you. Okay, so that is basically called a returnable transport packaging. Okay, then there will be non-stock material will be there, like small, we can say low price materials which are not being stored in the warehouses, so that we call as a non-stock material. Same for the non-valuated material. Let's say we are going to purchase any kind of small amount of material, so those are basically called a non-valued material procurement. Okay, so blanket purchasing, same for the blanket purchasing. Let's say uh, there is no specific purchasing is there, but let's say you are procuring or purchasing any kind of, let's say, least valued material. Let's say once in a year you need, let's say, 5 items you need. Okay, so for that one you can just create a, let's say you can create a just, what is it, so let's say you can just create a limit for that one. Let's say in this year I'm going to purchase 1,000 rupees, I'm going to purchase some items are there, let's say least items are there. I'm going to purchase a pen, pencil or something. Just for an example, I'm giving this give, giving this example to you. So let's say you need pen and pencil for 1,000 rupees in a year. Okay, that is not a higher amount, so you can just take the approval that I need a 1,000 rupees approval for pen and paper and every small kind of item I need to purchase. So you will create a blanket order for that, and you can provide any kind of orders you are going to place or any material you are going to place. You can just add over there. Okay, there will be a limit will be there which will be approved. So based till that amount, you can just create your order. So that is basically called a blanket purchasing. Okay. Okay. So that is all about the process. Okay. What are the business process are there? If we say about standard P2P cycle. Okay, standard P2P cycle means procure to pay cycle. So when we procure the material or purchase the material, to the payment we made to the customer, sorry, to the supplier. Okay, that is basically called a P2P cycle. Okay, now why we call it as a cycle? Because this will run in a cycle, like it will start with the process, like whenever there is a requirement is there will be a purchase requisition will be created. Okay, whenever you need any kind of product or there is a demand for the product is there, so you have to create a purchase requisition. Okay, now with respect to that purchase requisition, if you know the supplier, means from where you want to purchase it, like for the example, you want to let's say purchase a mobile. Now you know you have to purchase that mobile from the Amazon or from the Flipkart. Okay, you decided, you have decided the vendor, so directly you will go to Amazon and you will be purchasing the material or purchasing the phone from there. Now let's say you don't know where you can purchase, because there will be price factor will be there, delivery factor will be there, delivery time will be there, a lot of things will be there to consider, right? So if you don't know from where you want to buy, or let's say you want to buy from a local vendor or local shops you want to buy, so if you don't have an idea, what you can do, you can go for a RFQ process or request for quotation process. So in that case, you have identified that there are 3 to 4 suppliers are there, you will ask them for the price. Okay, you will ask them for the price and you will send a request for quotation. So you will ask them for quotation. Based on your request, they will provide you a quotation. Like let's take an example of mobile phone. Let's say you have identified one mobile phone. So let's say 3 vendors are there, Amazon, Flipkart, and a local store is there. Now let's say Amazon is saying they can provide you at 10,000 rupees for that mobile. Let's say Flipkart is saying they can provide you at 9,500 for that mobile. Let's say local vendor is saying they are going to provide it at the 9,200. Okay, so now you can provide or you can send the purchase order to the lowest bidder, or to the local supplier you can send a purchase order, and you can, or you can ask that I need a product from you, and you can reject the other, we can say other suppliers you can reject based on the price point. Okay, so once you have find out, or once you are having the supplier, so this is basically called this RFQ quotation and quotation comparison process is there. So this is basically called a supplier selection process, where you can select your supplier. Okay, once you select the supplier, then you are going to create a purchase order to the supplier, and you have to send that purchase order to the supplier. Once the supplier is receiving your purchase order, they will send you the material. Once you are receiving the material, you have to do the goods receipt for that. Okay, then once you are receiving the goods, then you have to create an invoice receipt. Then with respect to the invoice receipt, there will be a payment will be there. But basically this is the process. So this process will happen time to time in a cycle. So that's why we call it as a P2P cycle, because this works on a cycle. Again, you will need that product, then again you will create a PR, you will create a PO, you will create a GRIR, then again the process will continue. So that's why this is a P2P cycle. So this is a standard process of procurement, standard cycle of procurement in the SAP side or SAP side. This is we are going to use in our system. And next class or tomorrow we will be looking into the process flow, like the 10 processes that we have seen, 10 business process we have seen. So tomorrow we will look into the process flow. So how the process will work. So this is a standard process, and what will be the process for the other, we can say other business process, what will be the purchasing process will be there, how the data flow or document flow will be there. So that we are going to understand. So that is all for today. We will connect again on tomorrow. So if you have any doubts, any question, you can ask.
So tomorrow class will be at same time, right? 7:30.
7:30.
Yeah.
Okay, so bye everyone. I believe only Nupur and Sanjay have joined with the like for the course they have purchased, and others they have joined with the demo classes. So we have couple of more demo classes also tomorrow and day after tomorrow. And if you are already decided that you are going to join, so you can just ping me on WhatsApp, and I will provide you the link where you can join with the let's say for the further classes. Okay.
Sir, send me the link. I am also ready to join further classes.
Okay. Okay, Sagar. Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Bye everyone.
Bye, sir.
Yeah, bye.